Welcome back to Mindful Objective, where we get real about healing, health, and everything in between. I'm your host, Dr. Daniel Sproul, integrative health practitioner and professor. In today's episode, we're diving into brain fog. This is something that a lot of people struggle with, but often can't explain. I had about 5 or more people come to me this week alone, so it's definitely a popular topic that affects many. If you ever forgotten words in mid sentence, stared at your screen unable to focus, or walked into a room and forgotten why, you're not alone. Brain fog can affect anyone. As always, this show is for educational purposes only. We do not diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. So let's start off with what brain fog actually is and what it isn't. Brain fog is not a formal medical diagnosis. In non-specific terms, people often use it to describe a collection of cognitive symptoms that include forgetfulness, trouble focusing, mental fatigue, slow processing. Many individuals describe it as feeling off, mental cloudy, or they just feel like they're stuck in a haze. I've been through this before too. It's not a fun feeling. While the term isn't clinical, the experience is very real and often distressing. Some common symptoms include difficulty concentrating or paying attention, slow thinking, or your reaction times are slower, short term memory lapses, feeling mentally drained even after rest, trouble organizing tasks or conversations, difficulty recalling words or ideas. Or you having a conversation and you can't think of what you meant to say. It's very common. This cognitive sluggishness can interfere with work, relationships, and daily decision making. It can leave you feeling disconnected from your usual energy and clarity. While temporarily brain fog might follow poor night sleep habits or a high stressful day, persistence or recurring fog can be a sign that your body's trying to get your attention. There isn't one single cause of brain fog. Rather, it can be influenced by many different lifestyle, environment, or psychological factors. So, understanding the root contributors is an essential step in creating an effective and personalized support strategy. So, here are some common contributors: sleep quality and quantity. Insufficient or regular sleep disrupts the brain's ability to detoxify and recharge. During deep sleep, your brain clears out metabolic waste via the lymphatic system. When sleep is compromised, this system can't function efficiently. Another one would be blood sugar fluctuations. Blood sugar imbalances, especially sharp spikes and crashes, can impair focus and energy. Focus high on refined carbs or sugars may cause temporary energy boost, followed by mental fatigue. This is another common one. Hormonal changes, right? Shifts in hormone levels, such as during perimenopause, andropause. Again, that's a male equivalent of perimenopause or menopause. Or it could also be your thyroid function. These can all affect our neurotransmitter balance and your mental clarity. Hormones like cortisol, insulin, and estrogen all interact with brain chemistry. Another one would be chronic stress and cortisol dysregulation. So, long term stress impacts your HPA axis, which regulates many stress response hormones. Over time, this dysregulation can contribute to mental burnout, trouble focusing, and emotional instability. Another common one we always talk about is nutrient insufficiencies or deficiencies. The brain requires certain vitamins and minerals to function properly. Low levels of B12, iron, magnesium, and vitamin D have all been associated with neurological and cognitive symptoms. What about that gut-brain connection? Emerging research continues to affirm the role between the gut health and brain function. Imbalances in your gut microbiome, leaky gut, or chronic GI inflammation, these may all influence clarity via immune signaling and neurotransmitter production, or lack of production. Another one be environmental exposures. Exposures to mold, heavy metals, or chronic toxins may play a role in your neurological symptoms. Some individuals may genetically predispose to having more sensitive to environmental stressors. It's important to note that no single factor is responsible for all causes of brain fog. What works for one person may not apply to the other. That's across the board for pretty much everything out there. That's why taking a root cause, individualized approach is key. In our integrative health practice, we don't diagnose or treat medical conditions. What do? Instead, we help clients assess their environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and lab data to better understand what might be contributing to their symptoms. Know there's hope. Many of our clients find that once they identify what's driving their symptoms, they begin to feel more like themselves again. Now, let's talk about natural ways to reduce brain fog. But if you are dealing with brain fog, you might be desperate to, I want to snap out of it. So I get it. And a lot of us want to snap out of it quickly. But despite all the marketing promises of miracle pills and brain boosting elixirs, Substantial improvement starts with your lifestyle. No supplement can replace what your body's lacking at a foundational level. What we want to talk about in this segment is a gentle, natural, and realistic steps you could take to support clearer thinking, better focus, and stronger energy without relying on stimulants or fad diets. These are strategies that we consistently see with our clients in our integrative health practice. Number one, prioritize your sleep and the quantity of sleep, right? Most adults need between 7 and 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep to allow the brain to detoxify, consolidate memory, and reset neurotransmitters. But it's not just about hours, it's about quality. And I'm guilty of that too. I don't get the best sleep, especially every day of the week. So it's one of those things I deal with too. A struggle is real. But tips for better sleep: establish a consistent bedtime and wake up schedule, even on the weekends. So stop sleeping until 2 p.m. Another thing you want to do is avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Turn off screens at least 1 hour before bed to limit blue light exposure. And this is a hard habit to break, I understand. Support melatonin naturally by dimming lights and using magnesium-rich foods or low-dose glycinate supplements. Again, always consult a practitioner before use. Disrupted sleep is one of the most unappreciated causes of brain fog, and it's the one that's most fixable. But is it hard for you to fix it? I know it's a struggle, so definitely understand issues with sleeping. Another thing you want to do is support hydration and electrolyte balance. That's a big one in today's market is electrolytes. Even mild dehydration can shrink brain tissues, impair communication between neurons, and lead to cognitive fatigue. If you're experiencing afternoon slumps, headaches, or difficulty concentrating, inadequate hydration might be your contributing factor. Start with this. Aim to drink your body weight in pounds and ounces of clean water per day. So filtered, reverse osmosis, water that may contain electrolytes. Please stay away from tap water. Another thing you may want to do is add a pinch of sea salt or use unsweetened electrolyte powders if you sweat heavily or drink lots of coffee. Or I just generally recommend to use electrolytes daily. Another thing you want to do is avoid sugary sports drinks and artificially flavored water. Proper hydration nourishes the brain, aids detoxification, and supports energy at the cellular level. Another thing you want to do is balance your blood sugar naturally. Brain fog is a common sign of blood sugar dysregulation, right? A lot of people don't know that. That includes reactive hypoglycemia, which are blood sugar crashes, insulin resistance, or just poor meal timing. To support steadier blood sugar, eat protein-rich breakfast within 1 hour of waking. Skip the cereal. That's where we always say, as soon as you wake up, have protein. So is that eggs? Is that protein shake? Is that protein bar? How are you getting your protein? But aim for that 30 grams of protein as soon as you wake up. Include healthy fats and fiber with meals to slow glucose absorption. And I know this is hard for many people, including myself. It's pretty easy to skip meals, especially when you get busy doing things or you get pulled from one place to another or your mind's not thinking about it. So it's one of those things. Apps are great out there, constant reminders, calendar reminders, whatever you need to do, just focus on that. And a good way is tracking your food. Use different food apps, MyFitnessPal, Chronometer, many good ones out there. But at least with those, you could go back and look at your history and say, oh yeah, on this day I had this issue and I didn't eat enough, or I didn't eat enough certain nutrients, or I had this on that Monday and that Friday I had an issue. Now I trace it back to that Monday and that's the cause. Another thing, limit caffeine on an empty stomach. Stop having coffee on an empty stomach. Eat food first. Drink a lot of water before you consume that caffeine. For those that have markers of insulin resistance, supplements like berberine or chromium may be helpful. But you should always use this under professional supervision because, again, if berberine's working on your insulin, you don't need an insulin issue either. So we prefer running lab panels to assess metabolic health before recommending anything beyond food and different timing strategies. Another thing we always say is move your body, but don't overtrain. We see so many people out there overdoing it when it comes to exercise. What do you do long term? What do you do as you age? You work out 2 to 3 hours a day. What are you going to do when you're in your 80s? Are you still going to be able to work out 3 hours a day every day? You got to think of that long-term goal. What do people commonly want to go for? You want to aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes of walking daily. Resistance training is good, especially 2 to 3 times a week. Stretching, yoga, or mobility work to reduce inflammation, improve circulation. Movement helps shuffle oxygen and nutrients in the brain. It also enhances your lymphatic flow for detoxification. Next one would be reduce sensory overload and do that digital reset. I think our biggest issue, and I know we talked about it on another podcast, is people are so consumed by being on the phone that when you're driving, you pull up to a light and people grab their phone right away, or they're on their phone nonstop. Are they doing it on purpose? I do not think so. I think it's a habit. So as soon as you pull up to a light, do you grab your phone? That's a habit you got to break. When it comes to digital reset, multitasking, constant notifications, screen fatigue, they all contributed to attention issues and mental burnout. If your mind feels overstimulated, consider digital hygiene. Use the focus or do not disturb feature during work hours. Take 10-minute screen breaks every 90 minutes. Turn off unnecessary push notifications, especially social media. Have those disabled. Try reading a physical book. Go outside instead of scrolling. Your brain needs stillness just as much as stimulation. The next is a common one we talk about is sensitivities, food sensitivities, and how they contribute. Some people experience brain fog after consuming certain foods, especially gluten, dairy, artificial sweeteners, and even seed oils. While not everyone is sensitive to everything, an elimination diet can be an enlightening first step. We often guide clients through food elimination protocol followed by gradual reduction to assess their tolerance. If desired, food sensitivity testing, which we often recommend, this can help identify immune responses tied to foggy thinking or fatigue. Another good option that we do not talk about a lot, but we got to start talking about more, is that 21-day functional medicine detox, which will allow you to remove some of the bad out of your system and help you empty that rain barrel. This alone can be life-changing for many people, and it's not expensive. The next thing we need to talk about is when brain fog is a red flag. When do you need to worry? It's important to recognize that while brain fog is common, it's not always harmless. In fact, it may sometimes be an early warning sign of an underlying health issue, one that shouldn't be ignored. We all had moments where we feel a little off, maybe after a poor night of sleep, a heavy meal, or a stressful week. That kind of fog typically lifts once immediate stressor resolves. But if you're feeling mentally foggy more than that, more than days, if it's becoming more difficult to function daily life, you might need to take a closer look. Let's talk about when to be concerned. Here are some of the signals that the brain fog might indicate something's more serious. It comes on suddenly without an identifiable cause. It's progressively getting worse over weeks or months. You have difficulty completing daily tasks like driving, cooking, and remembering appointments. You experience it alongside other neurological symptoms, such as dizziness, balance issues, tingling, or muscle weakness. You notice frequent word finding issues, slurred speech, or disorientation. It occurs with emotional changes such as anxiety or depression. You're also experiencing unexplained fatigue, weight loss or gain, or unusual hormone symptoms. One thing to note is that these symptoms should be evaluated promptly by a licensed medical provider, especially if they interfere with your quality of life or safety. In cases like this, neurological exam, brain imaging, or specialist referral may be appropriate for you. Now let's talk about some possible underlying conditions. Some of these conditions are associated with persistent brain fog. This is not an exhaustive list, but it gives you an idea why deeper evaluation may be necessary. One would be thyroid disorders. Hypothyroidism, which is an underactive thyroid. This can slow metabolic activity and create brain fog, memory problems, and low mood. Then we have another one, autoimmune diseases. Conditions like lupus and Hashimoto's. These involve systematic inflammation. Then we also have chronic infections. Epstein-Barr virus, EBV. Lyme disease or long-haul viral symptoms may trigger neuroinflammation also. Then a big one we test for a lot is toxic exposures. So what is that? Mold, heavy metals, pesticides, industrial pollutants. These all can accumulate in your body, contribute to neurological dysfunction. We see a lot of tests coming back with high aluminum, high mercury. What's the cause for that? Neurodegenerative disorders. While rare in younger populations, conditions like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, or early onset dementia may start with cognitive changes. Then other mental health concerns, depression, anxiety, trauma-related disorders can all affect concentration, memory, and your mental energy. It's worth repeating, not every case of brain fog is a sign of disease, but chronic or worsening symptoms deserve careful attention and investigation. You don't need to navigate this alone, but take it seriously. What we do here at Mindful Objective, we do not diagnose, treat, or cure medical conditions. We work alongside your healthcare team to support foundational health through personalized, non invasive wellness strategy. When a client presents persistent brain fog, we listen closely to their story. And if appropriate, we may suggest functional lab testing to explore possible nutrient imbalances, toxic burdens, gut dysfunction, and hormonal shifts. We may also encourage the client to check with their primary care physician. We want this especially if the symptoms appear more neurological in nature, right? Sometimes a thyroid panel or iron panel ordered by their MD uncovers the root cause. Our goal is to never replace medical care, but complement it with integrative tools that can support healing, reduce stress in the body. We want to help you heal. So be proactive, don't be fearful. It's natural to feel uneasy when symptoms linger, but fear isn't the answer. Clarity is. With the right support, most people find their brain fog is reversible. When it's linked to lifestyle habits, inflammation, or more complex conditions, identifying the cause is the first step to relief. So now let's talk about what supplements actually can help. When people struggle with brain fog, one of the first things they often reach for is a supplement. The idea of a quick fix pill is appealing, especially when you feel like your brain's stuck in molasses. But not all supplements are created equal, and many don't address the real reason for you feeling off. In our practice, we don't treat or cure health conditions again. Instead, we educate and support clients using lab-guided wellness tools. This includes targeted supplementation. Next, we're going to explore the different compounds that have shown through research and clinical observation to support cognitive health and mental clarity. We'll also flag on some popular brain boosters that may be more hype than help. And it's a lot of different supplements out there. There's a lot of different people just trying to sell a product. And you got to look further into it because, again, what's good for one may not be good for another. The role of supplements in brain health. Let's get more into that. Supplements should never replace healthy lifestyle choices like sleep, movement, and balanced meals, right? We always harp on that. Instead, think of them as tools to help bridge nutritional gaps or support systems that may be under stress, such as your nervous system. Another one would be your detox pathways and your mitochondria. We often recommend supplements only after running functional labs to identify where support is truly needed. That's because brain fog can come from many different root causes. It could be nutrient deficiencies, toxic buildup, adrenal burnout, even neurotransmitter imbalance. But guessing is not our goal and never our goal. The data is. Here are some commonly used supplements that may offer support for individuals experiencing occasional brain fogs. One common one is omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA. Omega-3s play a critical role in brain cell membrane integrity and function. DHA in particular is a major structural component of brain and your retina. Research suggests that omega-3 supplementation may help support memory and mental performance, especially in those with diets low in fatty fish. Tip: look for clean, third-party tested fish oils that contain at least 500 milligrams of DHA per serving. Another one would be B complex with methylated B12 and folate. B vitamins support energy metabolism, neurotransmitter synthesis, and red blood cell production. B12 methylcobalamin and folate methylfolate. These are both particularly helpful for those with the MTHFR gene mutation or elevated homocysteine levels. And I am one of those candidates. Double dominant gene mutation, of course. I got the lucky draw. Signs of B12 or folate insufficiency may include fatigue, poor memory, mood swings, cognitive fog, but lab testing can confirm those deficiencies. Another one would be magnesium. This is essential for 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which influence nerve function and brain health. The glycinate form supports relaxation and sleep, while magnesium threonate may cross the blood-brain barrier and support memory-related functions. So there's different reasons to use different kind of forms. Dietary sources of this, can you get it naturally? Yes, you can. It depends on the amounts. Leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, black beans. But soil depletion has made the supplementation more necessary for many people. Acetyl L-carnitine, this is another one. The compound helps shuffle fatty acids into mitochondria, and it's to be used for more energy. It's often explored for mental fatigue, especially in older adults. Some small studies suggest that acetyl L-carnitine may support cognitive clarity and mood, although results always vary. As always, we say discuss this with your health provider before using, especially if you're taking thyroid or blood pressure medication. Still talk to your provider. L-theanine is another great one. Found naturally in green tea, L-theanine promotes calm alertness without sedation. Who wants to feel sedated? Do you take an allergy pill and you're tired for days? that point, you thought, man, I'd rather have an allergy. But yeah, L-theanine's been studied for its ability to reduce mental stress and support alpha brainwaves, which are all associated with creative, focused states. But when paired with low doses of caffeine, it may help smooth energy and improve focus. Another good one is lion mane mushroom. That's because this functional mushroom has been researched for its potential to support nerve growth factors and brain regeneration. Some early studies have showed reports that there are benefits to memory, clarity, and your focus. Always choose third-party tested brands. This way you get in quality and not fillers. Supplements to approach with caution. We see these all over the web, all in different videos, right, and social media. Nootropics. These different nootropic stacks, some contain synthetic or high-dose stimulants that can lead to jitteriness, crashes, or dependency. Excessive caffeine. This may mask fatigue but worsen adrenal stress long term. Proprietary blends. If you see proprietary blends, the label doesn't always clearly show how much of each ingredient's inside. So anytime you see a supplement with proprietary blends, especially if you're not sure on the quality, think twice. At Mindful Objective, we always recommend practitioner-grade supplements that are third-party tested for purity, potency, and safety. All the recommendations are tailored, never one size fits all. So again, what works for one will not work for another. What works for you will not work for your brother. Again, we're all individuals. Another one let's talk about is lab testing. Right? How do we get to the root cause of brain fog? One of the most common frustrations we hear from people experiencing brain fog is this. I tried everything, changed my diet, getting more sleep, taking supplements, and I still feel off. That's often because they're trying to fix the problem without knowing what's actually causing it. Is it your thyroid? Is it your hormones? Is it the supplements you're taking? Is it the food you're eating? Is it the supplements you're not taking? Is it the food you're not eating? There's many different root causes, and many different symptoms overlap with other things, or many different conditions out there overlap with other conditions. It's sometimes hard to get to the root problem. That's why we always say you have the option to take different supplements, right? You could do a lot of research on your own and say, oh, brain fog's caused by this, or high insulin's caused by this. I'm going to take this supplement. But without knowing what your levels are like, are you wasting money? Is it causing more damage to the body? There's a lot of factors that come into play in this stuff. A lot of times you got to think long term. You're trying to live a healthy, long life. And if you're doing that by taking random supplements and it's actually causing more problems, where is that getting you? In our integrative health practice, we don't treat or diagnose medical conditions again. What we do is help clients uncover hidden imbalances that may be contributing to those symptoms. So we use functional labs as our key tools. When it comes to brain fog, there's no single test that gives all the answers, right? But there are several non-invasive panels that provide powerful insights into nutrient status, metabolic function, inflammation, toxicity, hormone balance, and even your gut health. These are all symptoms that influence cognitive performance, mood, and clarity. So let's talk about why use lab testing. Here's the truth. Two people can have identical symptoms but completely different root causes. One person's brain fog might stem from iron deficiency or low thyroid hormone. Another person's could be from mold exposure or poor detox function. Without testing, you're left guessing. Lab testing offers measurable data that helps personalize a wellness protocol. It allows us to see beyond symptoms into the why, so we can support the body where it truly needs it for you as an individual. Let's walk through some of the most valuable tests we offer clients for brain fog. Micronutrient panel. This is a good one. This test evaluates levels of key vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids in your white blood cells, where long-term nutrient status is stored. Low B12, folate, magnesium, zinc, CoQ10 are all associated with fatigue, poor concentration, and neurological symptoms. Identifying deficiencies allows for targeted repletion rather than a generic supplement use. Another common one, and one highly favorable one here, is organic acid test. This is a urine-based test that offers insight into mitochondria function, neurotransmitter metabolism, gut dysbiosis, yeast and fungal overgrowth, and oxidative stress. If your mitochondria aren't producing adequate energy or your gut is producing neurotoxic byproducts, you might feel mentally drained. And this could come back even if your routine blood work you get yearly through your medical doctor comes back normal, right? It's very different than organic acid test. Another test we often do here is comprehensive thyroid panel. This includes TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, thyroid antibodies. Many clients have subclinical thyroid imbalances that don't qualify for a diagnosis but still impact brain function. A full thyroid panel provides clearer picture than just getting TSH alone, especially when brain fog, fatigue, or weight changes are involved. And again, if it's showing up on your blood work and when you go to your medical provider, oftentimes you already have that disease or that health condition. The benefit of a lot of testing we do on a functional lab side is what's contributing to where we could hopefully catch it years prior to you going to a medical doctor, to you running that blood work and your labs coming back high. So that's why we run that comprehensive thyroid panel to understand at a subclinical level what is needed for you as an individual. Another one would be adrenal stress profile. This saliva test tracks your cortisol levels at 4 points during the day. This shows your adrenal rhythm and your stress response. Chronic stress and HPA axis dysfunction can lead to mental burnout, sleep disruption, and low resilience. If your brain fog gets worse in the morning or late afternoon, your adrenals may be out of sync. Another one would be mycotoxin environmental toxin panels. A urine test to understand your exposure to mold toxins, heavy metals, and industrial chemicals. Toxins can cross that blood-brain barrier and disrupt neurological functions. Individuals living in water-damaged homes or past occupational exposures may benefit from this investigation, or those drinking a lot of tap water. There's a lot of causes to environmental toxins, so something to look at, and it's an easy, non-invasive test. A little hair sample, and the test is done. Another one is food sensitivity testing. Simple finger prick. Understand, what you're sensitive to. Unlike true food allergies, sensitivities cause inflammation days after exposure. Chronic low-grade inflammation is often a silent driver of brain fog and fatigue. What do we do after testing? Once we have your lab results, we review them through integrative lens, connecting symptoms with biochemical patterns. From there, we build a personalized protocol that may include dietary shifts, supplement recommendations, nervous system support, and environmental cleanup strategies. None of this is intended to cure or diagnose any disease. Instead, it's about identifying contributors to imbalance, supporting your body's natural ability to function at its best. How often do you hear that from a medical provider? As we wrap things up, know that brain fog can feel heavy. When your thoughts are slow, your words get jumbled, and your motivation disappears, it's hard not to question what's going on inside your body. But here's the truth. Brain fog is often a message, a sign that something's out of alignment. And when we approach it with curiosity, not fear, we open a door to real clarity. What we've covered in this episode isn't about quick fixes or miracle cures, which you see all over the place nowadays. It's buy this supplement. This could heal you. Buy this. Even good, reputable people out there, a lot of them are selling a product or a supplement line that they own or have stock in or something like that. So that's why we focus on individual testing to say, here's proof right here on this lab. Or just even if you have certain things you could take, right? Insulin issues, you may be able to take berberine. Even though you can take that without looking, oftentimes you want to run those labs so you can actually see it on paper and say, hey, now I understand why I'm taking this. Now I understand what it's doing to my body. And then retest later on to say, hey, I've been taking a supplement for 90 days, 6 months. This is where my levels are now. This is why I feel better. Or this supplement's causing this reaction with me. There's a lot of reasons to go through it, but I digress. The focus is it's about learning how your body works, right? How your environment and habits affect your brain, how to utilize tools such as nutrition, sleep, stress management, and functional lab testing, because you want to make informed decisions, not just guess. Remember, no supplement, smoothie, or protocol can replace professional medical advice. If your brain fog's persistent, getting worse, or impacting your ability to function, speak with a licensed healthcare provider. Talk to your medical doctor. Reminder, this podcast for educational purposes only. Does not diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. Always consult your licensed healthcare provider before making any health decisions. That being said, if you're looking for an integrative approach, one that explores your symptom with deeper questions and actionable steps, we're here to help. We offer personalized lab testing panels to explore nutrient, hormone, gut, and toxin statuses, wellness consultations, support clarity, energy, and your brain function. Also, practitioner-grade supplements at 20% off retail. Safer and more affordable than random online options. You can visit us at Mindful Objective to schedule a 15-minute discovery call to learn more about our functional health services. You don't have to live in fog. You just need the right tools and the right support to have a clear path forward. Thanks for listening. Stay well.